Hello, Flosstube. This is Heather, your 20-minute stitcher, coming to you with my first Flosstube extra. So this is not a normal Flosstube episode. This is the second of my 3 planned videos covering my trip to Weekend B of StitchCon. So hopefully you saw my most recent actual Flosstube video where I shared my finishes and my whips that I worked on at StitchCon or completed at StitchCon. This video will have no stitching in it. That's why I'm calling it a Flosstube extra. This video is just my explanation of StitchCon, how it ran, what I got there, not the stuff that I purchased, but the freebies, the exchanges, and things of that sort. My actual haul from StitchCon, my purchases, will be my third and final video from StitchCon. So I wanted to say that up front. If you're not interested in hearing about StitchCon, seeing the freebies I got and the exchanges that I won't show you all of the exchanges, this would be a 3-hour video, but sort of the exchanges that I got, my smalls exchange that I received, things of that sort, totally fair, totally fine. This isn't the video for you. Flip over, watch someone else. I'll be back with my regular Flosstube this weekend. But this video is sort of all about StitchCon, so let's jump into it. If you're still here, thanks for sticking around. So StitchCon, as I think I've mentioned before, is run by Keepsakes, which is a local needlework shop in Cincinnati, in Sharonville, Ohio, actually, a sort of a northern suburb of Cincinnati, and brings together Flosstubers and fans and people who love stitching for 2 weekends of stitchy goodness, awesomeness, and fun. At the Sharonville Convention Center just north of Cincinnati. I attended Weekend B, and I figured I would just sort of go kind of chronologically through the weekend. So officially it starts on Thursday evening, but the stitching room opens around noon on Thursday. It's a large ballroom, basically, large conference room, seats 300 people around 6 or 7 top round tables. Along 2 or 3 of the walls are the Bragg tables, or the Walk of Fame, as Barbara from Keepsakes called it, where people can bring items they've stitched, whether they're fully finished or whips or finished objects, anything they're proud of from their stitching career they can bring and show it off. A lot of people would add their finishes at StitchCon to the Bragg table as well once they had finished them. Then there was another wall that had a whole bunch of tables on it that was the freebie table. People could bring anything stitching related that they didn't want anymore. So patterns, fabric, old magazines, books, other accoutrements of stitching. There was a whole bunch of stuff there, including some real blasts from the past, right? Like Leisure Arts magazines from the 80s and 90s and stuff. It was kind of cool. And then, of course, there were the stitching tables. And then outside the ballroom in another set of conference rooms was the annex, where you could shop. There were designers and creators who had sent trunk shows and merchandise for sale. Like I said, that will be my third video, my haul from both the annex and from Keepsakes itself. So that's sort of the physical space of the convention. So on Thursday, I arrived a little bit afternoon, checked into my hotel room, and then headed down to the stitching room. And once I found my table and got sort of set up, I did sort of hit the freebie table first, and I did hit the Bragg table first. So I will show you what I brought for the Bragg table, because it's not something I actually have shared, because it is a Christmas stitch. So it's been down in the basement, but I dug it out for StitchCon, so I figured I would share it with you. And one of the things that you can do, what they ask you to do, is fill out a card for your Bragg table item to let people know what it is, what it's from, anything you want to share about it. So you can put your name and then information about the pattern, and then sort of any notes you might want to add. So some people said, I stitched this 1/1, or I stitched this. Sorry if you heard hissing. 2 of my cats are deciding that they are not friendly with each other right now. Awesome. So anyway, so this was on the table next to this. So this is my son's Christmas stocking. It was from a Stony Creek magazine of Christmas stocking patterns. I started this before I started keeping track of my stitching, so I have no idea when I started this. I know I started it after he was born. I want to say he was maybe 4 when I started it. And I finished it this past Christmas, and he's 10 now, so it took me a little while. But I'm so pleased with it. He absolutely loves it, and that matters most. So this will be obviously a treasured keepsake for him for hopefully the whole entirety of his life. Better be. I put a ton of work into it. So, and then my mom finished it for me because I was not confident enough in my abilities to finish a stocking and have it be nice. So she finished it for me. So that was my Bragg Table item that I brought to share with me. And then, as I said, I hit the freebie table, and I'll just sort of share quickly what I found there. So I got this cool Blackbird designs, which actually this wasn't from the freebie table. The group of people I was sitting with at table 41, we gave each other first dibs on our freebies before we put them on the table. So this was the freebie from one of my table mates that I grabbed. This is Spell of the Moon from Blackbird Designs, which I'm really excited about because I love owls and autumnal patterns, and I have never stitched anything from Blackbird Designs, so I'm excited to stitch this. So then from the freebie table, and these are things that I picked up both on Thursday as well as at other points during the weekend, there seemed to always be stuff appearing at the freebie table. So I checked it kind of at least once a day just to see if anything else came up. But I grabbed this pattern for my son. He likes Marvel, really likes Black Panther. So I picked this up for him. Then I also picked this up just because I thought it was funny. It says, "Where are we going and why am I in this handbasket again?" So I just thought that was kind of funny because that is a phrase that my family uses. I don't know if I'll actually stitch this, but I thought it was funny. My father is a fisherman, so the sentiment kind of cracked me up. It says, "Lord, give me grace to catch a fish so large that even I, in speaking of it afterward, won't ever have to lie." I don't know if I'll ever stitch it for him, or if I do, maybe I'll rechart it in a different way, but I thought it was funny, and so I grabbed it. And then my last item from the freebie table was like my gold find, and I got it first thing on Thursday. I think someone must have just put it in there, and perhaps I saw this pattern on the Bragg table, so it might have been this person who brought their finished piece, and it was absolutely stunning. And so I snagged it because it would not have been there much longer. And that is Needle in Hand by Hello from Liz Matthews. I was shocked to find it in there, and I grabbed it right up because I really like the sentiment on this as well. In fact, the funny thing is I grabbed it to sort of think about it because the style isn't normally what I stitch, the sort of more primitive sampler style. Isn't normally what I stitch. It's something I always appreciate seeing in other people's stitches, but sort of don't ever really stitch myself, or never really have in the past. And then I saw the stitched version on the Bragg table, and just, it was stunning. It was beautiful. So I was like, okay, mine now, I'm keeping. So those were my freebie table finds. And I need to back up a little bit because I forgot to share with you, because it's on the floor, not my table. When you check in for StitchCon, everyone was given this awesome tote bag that says StitchCon, and it's a great size. It's not small, but it's not large either. It's like a Goldilocks sized one. It's just right. And inside that, there were a couple of free patterns that I won't show you, but there was a StitchCon pattern. So the StitchCon pattern you actually have seen online. So I guess I can show that, right? So that was on, but then there were a couple of exclusive patterns, one from Heart and Hand, one from Works by ABC, and one by Hello from Liz Matthews, that were in there, as well as freebies for attendees. You also got an envelope that had your passport in it, and this was basically just your schedule for the weekend, what was happening when the Stitchy bus was running from the convention center to Keepsakes, when the late night stitching room was open, when the annex was open for shopping, pretty much kind of anything you would want to know. There was a free chart inside here as well, a listing of all of the Flosstubers attending StitchCon, things of that sort. So this was sort of a really useful tool to reference. It also included this awesome notebook that has the StitchCon logo embossed on it, and this great pen that came with it, name tag, and some fun stickers with pictures of the Keepsakes sign, the Stitchy bus, the logo. There's a picture of 310, the shop cat in here as well. I won't open them all up because I have a lot to share. But so you got all of that when you checked in. So you were already being inundated with awesome Stitchy stuff before you even found a seat at a table. So yes, so first I got my bag, then I hit up my table, hit up the freebie table, put my Bragg Table item out. And that was Thursday. Thursday night, there was a welcome. They called it the Welcome Gala, but where they sort of introduced everyone who was involved in putting together the event, provided sort of an explanation about how the weekend would run, how the smalls exchanges would work. They introduced the service project for the weekend, which was the Cincinnati Book Bus. Highly encourage you to look them up. They're doing a lot of great work to provide books to, initially started out as children, but they have sort of expanded to anyone in need of books in the Cincinnati area, especially in the region of Sharonville, which has a very high percentage of children on free and reduced lunches and things of that sort. So the Cincinnati Book Bus was our service project. Raffle tickets and other donations raised money for them, which was really awesome. I think then sort of the next thing I'll share is the smalls exchange. So we stitched on Thursday, then we went to bed. Friday morning we got up, we stitched some more. The smalls exchanges that took place take place across sort of 3 different exchanges so that it's not 300 people all at once trying to do the same thing. So my chip I drew was for the Friday afternoon smalls exchange. And the way it worked was, everyone who was part of, so they basically had plastic poker chips and red, blue, and white. And so the red smalls exchange, they sort of called, okay, the red smalls exchange is happening at 4:00. If you're part of that, go put your item on the exchange table. And then they just used a random number generator and said, okay, chips 30 through 39, go pick up a bag or a gift or an item. And they sort of just randomly generated, went through all the numbers. Ironically, my sort of decade of numbers was the very last one called. I was on one of the furthest tables away from where the smalls exchange table was. So by the time I got over there, I got literally the last one, which I personally thought was kind of cool, right? Because that the person who put their heart and energy into stitching it might have been sitting there going, why is mine being the last one picked? And it was awesome. I can't wait to show it to you. So it was in, It was in just a simple plain red bag, and it is awesome. So the small itself was this lovely pillow, and I believe this was, I didn't write it down, what'd she tell me? Jardin Privé pattern, I believe. But sort of a lovely sort of Halloween, but also autumn pattern that is really cool. And then a really neat fabric on the back of pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns. So this was the small itself, but lots of people also included other things, and this lovely woman, Jennifer, did as well. So there's this super cute little ghost decoration that, of course, I said straight away is going to have to go into my office to be decorated because I think my cats will try to eat it. They will be very intrigued by whatever this tinsely stuff is that comprises the pistachio. My black cat is already eyeing it, so it is going to go back in the bag. See, told you they'd be interested. Also had this really beautiful ribbon with cobwebs in white and black. Some trim, some finishing trim from Lady Dot Creates, just some white pom-pom. It's called Snow. Finishing trim. No, pistachio, you can't have this. And then it also had this awesome hands-on design pattern that made me laugh out loud when I saw it. It says, if you are reading this, then you are blissfully unaware of what is creeping up behind you. I've never seen this pattern before. I laughed out loud. I cannot wait to stitch it. So yes, so that was what I received in the smalls exchange. So much fun. It definitely was just super fun to get to meet another stitcher, to get some fun prizes and surprises. So that was Friday afternoon. And then on Saturday, again, lots of stitching. And you can also sort of at any point, as I mentioned, get on the Stitchy bus and you can go to Keepsakes and shop there or just see the shop, which it is a pretty impressive. I don't know that I've ever been in an LNS with so many models. hanging on walls, sitting on, I mean, they were everywhere. It was pretty cool. I did not take any pictures there, so I don't have any to share with you, but if you're on Instagram, just do a search for hashtag StitchCon 2022. You will find pictures from Keepsakes that others have taken and posted. So on Saturday, my table group, one of the people at my table group lives locally in Cincinnati and dyes her own fabric a lot of the time. So we actually all went to her house and dyed fabric. So this is not an official part of StitchCon, but my group did it, and I figured this would be the right place to show it. I had never dyed fabric before, so thank goodness she knows what she's doing. So we did what was called a fabric parfait, where you basically sort of picked 3 different colors and you shoved 3 fabrics into one jar. So you put kind of the one in and then the dye for that one, and then the second one in and the dye for that one, and then some of it would seep down to the first one, and then the third one, you literally were building a parfait of fabric. So the colors I chose were purple, green, and orange. So, and these are my fabric pieces. So this was my orange, which was, I think, on top. So it's a really nice, the lighting isn't picking it up very well, but it's a really nice orange. Very excited for this one. Then here is my purple that really picked up quite a bit of the green. I think the purple was on the bottom. So it picked up quite a bit of the green as well. So this is, and some of the orange. So it's kind of a really cool mixture of lots of different colors. Clearly none of these, well, actually they did get ironed, but then they were damp still and kind of got put in my bag, so they're all wrinkly. And then this was my green, which we were joking sort of looks a little bit like a butterfly because of the way the orange came in, and then there's just this sort of one streak of purple in the middle. So, but this was what we did on Saturday afternoon, was dyed fabric. So now I have fun fabrics that I dyed myself, sort of, with help to share. And then, so each night at StitchCon, there were door prizes and raffle prizes. As I mentioned, for the service project, people bought raffle tickets, and on Friday night and Saturday night, they pulled raffle tickets and prizes. And then they also pulled door prizes that were based just on your registration ID number. So I did not win any of the raffle prizes, unfortunately, from the service project, but I did win a door prize basket. So here's the funny thing about that. When they were announcing the basket, they said, this is an Ohio State basket. As a graduate of the Ohio State University, whenever I hear Ohio State basket, I think Ohio State University. I was like, ooh, I want that. And I literally said that out loud to the table. I was like, ooh, I want that one. And then they called my name, which was hilarious and like super exciting because I rarely win anything. And then what was funny was it's not an Ohio State basket. It's a state of Ohio basket, which is fine too. It's really cool. But I am excited to show you that. So I did take it out of the plastic so that wouldn't be rustling on my screen. But it came pretty much just like this, except there were originally 6 Buckeyes in the box. I shared them with my table. But anywho, so it came with Buckeyes, which for those of you unfamiliar, these are the Buckeye is the state nut of Ohio. It's what the Ohio State Buckeyes mascot. And the Buckeye candy is peanut butter mixed with like flour and some other stuff to help it hold its shape, but peanut butter dipped in chocolate to look like a Buckeye nut. So it came with Buckeyes. It came with this pattern, Winter Solstice. The cardinal is the state bird of Ohio. So I'm assuming that that's why that's in there. Came with these Lindy Stitches sticker plates, which is pretty cool. I'm actually going to use this. If you watched my last Flosstube video where I shared my friendship basket by Hello from Liz Matthews that I had people add to at StitchCon, when I frame that, I'm actually going to put one of these on the back and I'm going to write who stitched what on my basket. I'm going to have to write it pretty small, but I'm going to write it so that I don't forget. Came with these fun postcards and this fabric for the pattern. A 32 count aged linen for that pattern that came with it. And then this is not the floss called for by the pattern, but it came with these 3 floss colors, which are in essentially the Ohio State colors, which are scarlet and gray. So it's sort of 2 tones of red. And then kind of this, it's actually called carriage black, but it definitely reads as sort of a grayish floss. So That was super exciting. I rarely win anything, so to win a door prize and to have it be a state of Ohio door prize basket was pretty cool. So then the other big piece of StitchCon is the trading and exchanging. And people bring floss cards, scissor fobs, needle minders, all kinds of different things to exchange and share at StitchCon. I brought floss cards with my 20-Minute Stitcher logo on them and my Instagram and YouTube links. So if you are here, my guess is if you are here because of those, you might not be watching this video because you were at StitchCon. But if you are here and you are watching this video because of a card you got at StitchCon, hi, welcome. I am behind in following people back, in part because this is what everything still looks like. So this is everything that I got as part of exchanges and people giving things away at StitchCon. You can see how jam-packed it is. I will not be showing everything I received because, as I said earlier, we would be here till tomorrow morning. But, you know, there were just so many cute things. Like here's a cute little froggy needle minder, a little bumblebee and butterfly needle minder. These are my scissors, but scissor fobs this was from a Little Farm Quilt Co., who was originally a quilting Flosstube or quilting channel and now is a Flosstube, although I think she still shares quilting as well. My Stitchy Home was passing out drink koozies, which was kind of fun. Watching Flosstube makes me thirsty, is what it says. And just so many floss cards. So many floss cards. Like some of them, I want to go to wherever this is because it's beautiful. And like, I love libraries and books. But yeah, so many. Oh, look, here are mine. I guess I had a couple of mine left. And just, I mean, on and on. I'm trying to find some of the other, some beeswax for thread conditioning. What else is in here? A scissor, so many magnetic things, they're all sticking to each other. A scissor minder, all right, to put your scissors on. Someone made little ornaments of spools with fabric, which were super cute and have little scissor charms and say StitchCon 2022 on the tag. So that will definitely go on my tree at the holidays. Yeah, I mean, just so much awesome stuff. Cardinal cards. So many. Like I said, won't share them all. But I mean, I will never need to buy another floss card, like ever again, which of course isn't true. Well, I won't need to buy another floss card for a long time to come. Doesn't mean I won't. But yes, so this was really fun as well, going around and meeting people and exchanging items and just getting items. Lots and lots and lots of fun. Almost to the end here, the last couple of things that I wanted to share. In addition to the floss cards and needle minders and all that stuff, one of the folks at my table gave me a grime guard for an 11x11 Q-snap, which I'm super excited about, and it already has cat hair on it. Might be from her house, probably from mine. Some people were going around giving away DMC skeins of floss, things of that sort. And then the last two things I want to share are a little bit of a plug for a few other creators who are out there and sharing things at StitchCon. So one was Stitchin' in Blues on Instagram. They were sharing their Art Nouveau Stitch Along that is happening right now on their website on FAD Needleworks. So it's fadneedlework.com. And so I just wanted to share that. If this is something that's of interest to you, if you like Art Nouveau, if you like flowers, if you like stitch-alongs, and aren't familiar with them. I haven't gone to check it out yet, other than sort of this free pattern that they were giving away. But definitely hit up their website if this is something that's of interest to you. And then the last one I wanted to share was someone who actually wasn't at StitchCon, but they're part of the Cross Stitch chat group that I am part of, and that is Wonderland Hand-Dyed Fabrics. This is a brand new, she's been dyeing fabrics for a long time, but it's a brand new company that they just started. And they had fabric samples that they were giving away, that they were asking us to give away at StitchCon. And this is, I should take it out of the bag, but she has it packaged so nicely. Maybe you can tell through the plastic. This is called Nonsense. This one is a 28 Lugana. I don't know that the camera is picking it up very well, but it is a beautiful, beautiful sort of grayish blue, sort of very subtle, but also still very, I don't want to say rich, but it's a really, really lovely color. And she was offering, or is offering, to anyone who might be interested, if you go to Wonderland hand-dyed fabric, you can, let me see if this would work. There is a QR code. I don't know if this will work. If you hold your phone up to it, that will take you to their link tree where you can get to their website to order anything that might be of interest to you. For any purchase from their website of $10 or more, you can get a free fat eighth of fabric. All you have to do is message her with the code StitchCon 2022 when you place your order. And I will put that in the description below as well, including a link to her website. But wanted to share that because the fabric itself is gorgeous. I have seen lots of other fabrics that they've dyed just for their own personal use, and they're all really pretty. And I like supporting small businesses, especially small cross-stitch related businesses. So helping them get started. They're going to have hand-dyed fabric and hand-dyed floss in their shop. That is my crash course through StitchCon 2022 as regards sort of the schedule and the things that happened at StitchCon. My last video from StitchCon will be sort of my Flosstube Extra #2, and that's where I'll share my haul. So this video was a bit long because there was a lot to share. I did kind of go a little crazy in my spending at StitchCon, but that video I will record within the next couple of days, and I'll have that up soon as well. So I hope you enjoyed this recap. I hope to go again next year to StitchCon. Would love to see any of you there as well. I did actually get to meet a couple of you at StitchCon, which was super awesome, especially those of you who took some time to add to my friendship basket. Thank you, especially Alma. It was fun to have you sitting at the table next to me and to get to talk to you a bit. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching this. Would love to hear any questions you have about StitchCon that I didn't answer, or anything else that you want to share in the comments. Happy to hear them and to see them. So thanks again for your time, and I look forward to seeing you again real soon. Bye.